Hello guys, how are you doing? Now, you need to know this, that your interview is principally dependent on your case number. That is the principal determinant. Your case number determines when your interview will be. And I want to explain this into details because I've seen a lot of questions of people getting mixed up and they are worried about their interview. Like, for example, I have someone who is case number 23,000 EU and is now asking that I submitted my DS260 the first thing after being selected. That is in the month of May for DV Lottery 2024. But up to now, I've not gotten an interview appointment, the 2NL. Why so? And do I have a chance? So when you hear that question, that means that this person does not understand how interviews are being scheduled. So for me to explain this, I want to explain two things. And go with me. Two things. Get each of them clearly. The first one, I will be explaining the order in which the DS260 forms are processed. That is one. The second one is the order in which the interviews are scheduled by KCC. Those two things. So let's start with the order in which the DS260 forms are processed. Remember guys, after you've gotten selected, you now need to apply for the green card, and you do so by filling the DS260 form. That is the way in which you apply for the diversity visa. And you fill that DS260 form and you submit. And together with every other winner, you submit them online to KCC. Now, the order in which the DS260 forms are processed is as they come. As you continue sending your DS260 forms, they get processed in that order. So, get it clearly. A person who submitted the DS260 form in May 16th will have his or her DS260 form processed before the person that submitted the DS260 form in May 27th. So if you submitted in May 16th, your DS260 form is processed, then follows the other one that comes and all the way to the last one. That is the order in which the DS260 forms are processed as they come in. Have you gotten that clearly? So that is with regard to the DS260 form processing. Now, after a certain batch of DS260 forms, and mostly it is grouped on monthly basis, but within a certain period of time, let's say for example, 100 people submit their DS260 forms. Within that period, the DS260 forms will be processed as they come, one after the other. But after all the DS260 forms within that period, that batch of DS260 forms have been processed, then KCC will go ahead and arrange them from the lowest case number to the highest case number within that batch. The lowest to the highest within that batch. And why do they do so? It is because the answer comes in the second context. the aspect number 2 that I'm about to discuss. That is the order in which the interviews get scheduled. Now, KCC has arranged within that batch from the lowest to the highest. This is because the interview scheduling will now depend on this. For that example batch, all those people that become current, and that is to mean they are below the cutoff number and they are ready to receive their interview appointment, the one with the lowest case number will have his interview or her interview scheduled, then follows to the next person with the case number that follows, all the way until the last. I hope that point is clear. Let me say this as I clarify on that. One thing that you must note is that if you have a low case number, and let's say you submit your DS260 very late, like for example in the month of September, that first batch that submitted in the month of May, their DS260 forms have already been processed and they have been arranged from the lowest to the highest case numbers. Therefore, even if your DS260 form is processed, there is no way that your case will come to the batch that was processed in the month of May and jump ahead of those with higher case number than yours. Get it clearly. All those people that were processed within that early batch that are slightly higher than you and they are within the cutoff number, that is to mean they are current. Even if their case numbers are higher than yours, you who submitted your DS260 late, they will have their interviews scheduled before yours. Yes, indeed, you'll get your interview scheduled because you have submitted your DS260 form even if it's late and it has been processed, and you are also current. But note that people that are within the cutoff number, lower than the cutoff number, and have higher case number than yours, they will be scheduled for the interview ahead of you because you submitted your DS260 late when KCC had already arranged the batch from the lowest to the highest. So that is the risk. Have you gotten the point? That's what happens. And that's why I usually tell you people, submit your DS260 forms as early as possible. And also in this, you must know this, that you might have your DS260 form submitted early and it being processed early by KCC, but since your case number is high, your interview will be scheduled only after your case has become current, and you might find out that for all high case numbers, their interviews are scheduled later in the fiscal year. Even if you submitted it early, your interview will be scheduled later on in the fiscal year. So don't ask questions that I submitted my DS260 early in May. Why haven't I received my second notification letter? No. Submitting early does not mean that you'll get scheduled early. If your case number is high, you will wait until it becomes current. Let me use an example. If you come from Asia and you are DV 2024, case number 15,000. Even if you submitted your DS260 in the month of May, you don't expect your interview as the interviews begin in October. No. You'll have to wait until your case number becomes current. And that will be later within this fiscal year. So the point is, even if you submitted it early and it has been processed, it lies in wait until your case number is reached. That is later in the fiscal year. Another thing on the issue about interview scheduling that is very important is you get scheduled for the interview once your case number is current. And I explained it in an earlier video. Becoming current means that your case number falls under the cutoff number indicated on the visa bulletin. So until your case number is lower than that cutoff number, you cannot be scheduled for the interview. So for example, for the month of October, the cutoff number for various regions have been given. So just check your case number. If it falls below that, then you expect your second notification letter anytime. Some have already started receiving their 2NLs. But if your number is above the cutoff number, just wait until the cutoff number covers your case number. That's when you expect to get scheduled. And the other thing, remember, it also depends upon the performance of your embassy of interview. If the embassy that will interview you performs slowly in terms of scheduling interviews, you may become current but not receive the 2NL because there is no position for you to get an appointment from the embassy. And that is what we call being delayed because of the backlog. You'll find out that the embassy has a lot of cases before you that needs to be interviewed but have not been scheduled. So until they are covered, you cannot be scheduled. So it also depends on the performance of the embassy. That's why you hear me time and again ranting against the poor performance of several embassies. So those things you must know. But the baseline is, remember that it depends principally upon your case number. I hope I've clarified to majority of you, especially the newbies in this system. Please, if you find this video important to you, why don't you give it a like and also subscribe if you're new, and let's meet in the next video.